You're listening to the Slapstick Hockey Podcast,
your premier amateur hockey podcast.
Which explains a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Slapstick Hockey Podcast. We have a wonderful effort today to give you. We've got so much to talk about. We've got a lot of hockey news that's coming at you. Our technical director, Mr. Nate Harbor, with us. We've got the intrepid Jacob Murphy and the great, powerful Guy Schaefer. And today we have a new guest joining us, Mr. Mitch. We got a whole cast and crew here today, and my phone is low on battery. We have a non-creative name, which is good. The Olympics just happened, which is cool. We're not going to talk about that at all, though. I think that's kind of boring and kind of hack at this point. You know, I think everybody's kind of made their own thing about it, so we can just maybe move on unless you guys want to. Yeah, unless you guys just want to talk about it.
Well, I would just like to say this: congratulations to the Americans. That was an amazing tournament they had. And especially that last game. I don't know if Connor Hellebuyck will ever play that good again in his life. You couldn't get better than he got.
Yeah, he doesn't need to play any better.
I referenced the stick save on Taves. That was otherworldly.
Shades of Braden Holtby in the cup there. I mean, yeah, Hellebuyck won the game for us. I think I saw a stat, expected goals was 6-2 in that game. So I was texting Nate. Canada really laid it on us in that game. I mean, they really outclassed us. I don't think this was a game where you come away and you think the Americans are better than the Canadians at hockey. But, I mean, for the first ever American men's gold medal in my lifetime, it was an incredible watch. And for Jack Hughes to get the game winner, just an electric moment. And Kenny Albert on the call, I mean, to me, it was a dream scenario. So I'm just so excited for that team. It's a bunch of guys that have worked their tails off to get there. And just proud to be American today. It was an awesome win.
Dude, I thought that shot, Jack took the chops, knocked his tooth out, and he doesn't even miss a shift. That's a hockey guy right there.
It's hockey, yeah, exactly. I mean, but then he almost cost us the game. He took that bad penalty there late in the third, and I thought that was going to be it. Are you like on a roller coaster, for God's sakes? What are you doing? But anyways, no, I mean, that was just a game that, I mean, Nathan MacKinnon missing that shot on the open cage, it started to feel like fate after that missed. And I thought all of that was going to happen. Hellebuyck was going to play the game that he played. And then we're going 3-on-3, and McDavid's going to go right down and break our hearts. And I'm shocked that didn't happen, to be honest.
Well, I think the craziest thing is I feel like 2 seconds before Jack Hughes scores, I texted in our group chat, and I was like, oh, my God, McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr, like this is recipe for disaster, right? Like that's the first thing you think of when, maybe the two best forwards in the entire universe right now, and then Cale Makar, who's been the best defenseman on the planet the last couple of years, pretty much hands down. And then, moments later, it's just an effort play. It's a hustle play. And I think that was kind of indicative of that whole game where Canada, they definitely gave themselves the opportunities to win. You kind of saw that comment from Nate MacKinnon where he was a little salty, maybe gets caught in the emotion where he's like, yeah, you told me who the better team was today. And just to see how that goal ends up coming to fruition with the players that were on the ice when it happened is almost makes it that much more mind-boggling in hindsight when you consider that, Larkin, Hughes, and Werenski, three great players in their own right, but the three they were going up against, it's probably the most super team of super teams you could have in a 3-on-3 situation.
What do you guys think about 3-on-3 for the Olympics?
I think it's soft. Yeah.
I don't think it's our better moment. I don't know. I just think it's not real. It just wasn't a real high point, I think, to go down to a 3-on-3 on stuff.
I think it's awesome. It's great.
Real quick, Nate, I forgot, and I feel like a lot of people forgot, that when Crosby scored, it was 4-on-4 on his golden goal. I totally forgot that. It was just him and Ginla and a couple other guys out there. But, yeah, I mean, I would have rather seen, obviously, 5-on-5, and I'll let you get to your point, Nate, sorry. But I just want to say, I totally didn't realize that Crosby's goal was 4-on-4. But 4-on-4 is a heck of a lot better than 3-on-3. I think 3-on-3 is pretty gimmicky to go through that entire tournament process and then decide it with kind of a skills comp. I mean, at least it wasn't a penalty shootout, I guess, but still.
Yeah, I was going into overtime actually hating 3-on-3, and then when Jack Hughes scored, I decided that I really liked it. So
I kind of have this. That's exactly my 2 cents on the issue. My 2 cents was I was like, man, 3-on-3, is it really like a full game of hockey? And I get kind of the idea of it, and like why it's more simplified there towards the end, but. As soon as it happened, I was like, I love it. It's actually the best decision anyone's ever made. I'm happy that we don't do a series. Thank God that we don't do a series. I'm glad that it's one and done. Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I watched the game.
Nathan,
I woke up early. Say what?
Nathan is so funny.
I mean, I watched the game. I watched the game early. Everybody woke up super early to go watch it, and the first goal, Team USA scoring that early was not on my scorecard at all. And I think that kind of like set the tone for the rest of the game of how gritty it was going to be, how physical it was going to be. And USA just seemed like they had a really, really good playbook of how to just get in everyone's way, gum up the works, try to slow everything down to the pace that they were comfortable with when they needed it. And then when they didn't, it was just weathering the storm, because Canada sure had a lot of shots on goal.
Yeah, they had to score first. U.S. had to score first. That game would have been completely different if they had not scored first.
Yep. Yeah. I think that it was wild. And to see the Tkachuk brothers just go at some Canadian players early. Like, I think there might be some unresolved anger from the Four Nations game. I don't know. Maybe not. No, it was a fantastic game, though. And I'm happy that we beat Canada. I think it sets the tone, hopefully, for the next years for the 51st state. I think it's going to be a really good transition. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Everyone's looking at Guy. Yeah, there you go. So one of the Guy's response to this.
Guys are resident Canadians, so I have to.
One of my favorite but more painful chirps that I read was that guy saying, "It's kind of cool how we took the only country that has only one sport and we beat them at their own game."
And with the USA women's too, I was like, "Oh no!"
Well, that game was very interesting too because I didn't think we were going to score. I mean, nobody had scored on the Americans until the very last game going into the gold medal round. They gave up 1 goal in 6 games. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, it was a great run.
They outscored what 33-2. The women's team did like a long run. I mean, and they had smoked Canada earlier on. They beat them 5-0 on the way through the group stages. So yeah, I think you go back through, and obviously 1980 Lake Placid. That's always going to be kind of the moment where you look at that being the pinnacle or the historic memory of USA hockey. But to have both the men's and the women's team, the women being so dominant, the men going up, against as talented of a Canadian team as, you could really hope to see. I mean, they were on paper as good as any that they've taken over the years. Really the pinnacle of the sport at the perfect time for the sport, I think, in the States. There was, so many people that were up at 8 a.m. to watch this game, which I also don't really I know they had the closing ceremonies that day, but you got to go 5 or 6 o'clock or something like that Italian time. You got to find something to push it back a little bit more of the day. But there were so many people I know that typically don't really even care about hockey, and they're texting, they're reaching out and trying to talk about the game leading up into it. So I think it's the perfect time to have had that kind of success for both of the teams and have had that moment, and for both them to be in overtime, even if we have kind of some reverse John Cooper thoughts from our boy Nate as far as being anti 3-on-3. Now we're all pro 3-on-3, where I think John Cooper might be on the other side of that equation, but it was a heck of a way for him to go out. I mean, 2 golden goal moments for the gold is pretty insane. You can't really draw it up any cooler than that.
Yeah, and that series won't get almost any coverage if those 2 teams aren't in the finals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overtime at the Olympics this year.
There was. It almost felt scripted. I don't want to be that guy. There's a lot of conspiracies going on these days. But no, for me, my favorite part of that game.
We can't have anything, can we, Jacob? We can't have anything. We can't have a single good thing in this one.
No, it was my mom FaceTimed me after the game, and my mom never watches hockey. She doesn't even watch my broadcast, so that tells you how much hockey she watches. But anyways, no, to have my mom FaceTime and be like, "Are you watching this?" And it's like, of course I'm watching this. But no, to share that moment with my mom and dad, and they were visiting my sister, and my little sister's watching the game, and I mean, I was kind of the only one in my family of four that ever really got into hockey or cared about it, and to know that my parents were watching and thinking of me during the game, and watching the medal ceremony, that was the coolest thing. And then that's kind of when it hit me. I'm like, this is my first gold medal experience with for watching my country in the men's section. So obviously we all grew up watching. I think it came out 2004, 2005, whenever that movie, The Miracle with Kurt Russell. Fantastic movie. I think that's probably a big part of what played into our childhood of wanting to play hockey, was that movie and learning about that story, and like now a new generation gets to share in a moment like that. And the picture of Jack Hughes with his teeth and the blood, I mean, it's just epic. Like it'll be in every frat kid's dorm room for time to come. I mean, it's just an incredible photo, and I just so proud of the team. And during the game, I was almost like, gosh, we're just getting completely outworked. But, it was shades of Jim Craig against the USSR with the way Connor Hellebuck played. And, I mean, and to just not give up. And like Mitch said, the three that we had out there, I mean, the fact that it's Zach Werenski making that game-winning pass, and how close him and Johnny Gaudreau was, and seeing them bring out his jersey and his children, I mean, I don't know. Like, I teared up. It was beautiful. I mean, I'm also having some red wine, so a little emotional, but I don't think it was the biggest hockey moment to me than watching the Lightning win the Cup for the first time in 2004. It brought me back to feeling like a kid again, and I haven't felt that way about a sporting moment in so long. So it was a really cool moment.
First of all, Florida shouldn't win anything. How many Stanley Cups are in the state of Florida now, Jacob? 3, I think, at least, right?
I think 5, 3 for Tampa, 2 for Florida.
Yeah, so that's a testimony to very good organizations.
Yeah.
And who would want to live in Florida?
I don't know.
In Florida.
Yeah. Well,
I guess a little controversial. I want to ask everybody, and I'll get Nate Harbor since he's our political expert. What was Kash Patel doing in the locker room? I feel like he's got a lot else going on in his life. Our boy Kirk's killer still hasn't been, hounded up. I mean, what is going on? What is Kash doing?
That dude has a lot on his plate, and my God. Yeah. I mean, the optics alone are not great. I think everyone can kind of agree.
Yeah. I mean, he's been a disaster in my opinion. I was excited for him and excited about it, but no, he's been terrible. I mean, I was telling Nate, I was like, out of anybody in the administration, I think he's been the absolute least productive at their job, and he's the one in there celebrating with them. I mean, I don't know.
I think you're supposed to be like that in that position. I mean, name a guy before him that we look back and go, wow, that guy was productive. I mean, it's like you not only have to spell the word obfuscate, you have to do it every day of your life and lie. And I don't know. It's almost embarrassing.
I thought it was crazy. And I was like also thinking, what player grinded their entire life to get to that moment? It'd be like, you know what? I don't want my dad here. I don't want my mom here. I want Kash Patel. Like, who organized that? I don't know.
Sir, I've won a gold medal. I think I get one request. Give me the deputy director of the FBI.
Yeah, who's going to probably have to resign in embarrassment and who knows how long.
Get him
I don't know.
Hey,
not even being political, but I just couldn't believe it.
What are your thoughts on the Trump invites the men and women to the White House celebrate the gold medal winners, and the women turned him down and said, nope, we ain't coming?
Yeah, Mitch, you go for that one. I already gave my political stump speech.
Yeah, just throw me right into the melting pot of this. No, I think it's one of those things. There's a lot of outrage about it today, like kind of more than I thought. And I think anyone on either side of the aisle, again, not to get into the politics side of it, but like the guy just kind of says what he wants, whatever he wants. Like I think anyone would agree with that maybe the filter isn't there. And I think where I kind of slow down with the outrage is there's a lot of people that are expecting a bunch, 20 or 25 hockey players that just reached the absolute pinnacle of their career. They've reached, what you would dream up in the backyard for them, playing growing up, to be in the Olympics, to win the gold medal in overtime. A lot of them with, personal relationships with each other for years playing together. And they're expecting them to like check the president at the door on a phone call while they're partying in the locker room.
Folks at home, Mitch Stewart is actually an AI robot, and
I was gonna
he's
say,
a little bit overheated right now.
I was terrified that it was just me.
No, he's giving a hot take and pretending like he's cutting out. So
Oh, that's what it is. This is a great way to get out of your political opinions.
Mitch just got
100%.
DDoSed.
Yeah,
Cash Patel is here with his finger on the internet throttle speed.
Yeah, they just hit it. They just drone striked my house. What just happened? So to restart. I think where the outrage kind of gets out of hand for me is expecting all these guys that they reach the pinnacle of their hockey careers, right? Like the best possible moment you could ever imagine, which is winning the gold for your country. It's something that all of these guys have dreamed about for ages, and so many of them have played together, whether it's in the NHL or growing up through the U.S. circuit, playing in the junior worlds and everything else. And to expect them while they're partying and at this, unspeakable, unknowable high for most people, to be on the phone with the president and then just to expect them to like check a joke that was maybe a little bit distasteful or maybe controversial or however you want to look at it. Like it's not really their place. Like, who's supposed to step, what is it, Austin Matthews, because he's the captain, is like supposed to be like,
excuse me.
It's not really, it's not really nice. Like if you watch back, there's some interviews with like Jack Hughes. Of course, his mom works with the women's program and with Team USA. Like they gave their props like all throughout. Like I think that's something in the hockey world. Like if you follow NCAA hockey at all, D1, D3, or that hockey family is strong. Like if you're wearing the same colors, like the support is in most situations pretty mutual in those scenarios. Like I don't think that we'll see what the comments are from the women's team. Like I don't think they're going to call it the men's team. There's also plenty of people in the background of that video that have been pointed out to be saying 2 for 2, or they're trying to kind of tip their cap, give stick taps to the women's team for winning. So I'm not gonna put myself in a position where I'm defending or really getting into what was said. But I think that the players definitely deserve a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt, just because if you think about that situation, like imagine you just won the Olympics and then someone's asking you to like step up to the president and kind of call him out or anything like in that moment. Like that's not what that moment should have been about at all.
Nate, I feel like you wanted to say something.
I think context really matters in this. So Trump is on I guess maybe from his perspective, a private phone call to the team. I'm sure he probably suspects it's being recorded, but he doesn't really know that. He's giving, I guess, a speech to the team that just won. The women aren't around, and in his mind aren't in earshot of this. So he's complimenting them, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I guess I should mention the women. I'll just make a joke out of it. I think that's literally all it was. I don't think it was meant to be a jab at them. I think he was just playing to the audience and the context. What are you laughing at, Murph?
Oh, I'm laughing at Landon. You didn't see him getting close to the – I mean, Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm gonna let you continue. I'm gonna let you finish, but no, I just it's an unnecessary thing for him to say. It was ridiculous thing for him to say.
I think
Can you at least start with that?
No, it is unnecessary. I think he's like trying to fill gaps of silence. He's trying to talk, and he's the only one that's speaking. He's speaking to a room of people listening, and like having a conversation with a group of like 25 men. I think that's all it was. I don't think he necessarily intended it to get out to the world, and it was just a silly joke that I think
improv night at the Riff Raff or something.
I think that's what it was. He's just trying to do stand-up comedy because Trump does try to do comedy a lot.
What he should have done
joke.
He should have said, "Cash, are you there? Cash, can you hear me?" That's what he should have
If you watch the whole clip, Cash keeps interjecting himself into that phone call.
Of course he does. He's a bum. He's interjecting himself into the locker room.
Yeah, Trump was like, I think I'm going to have you guys come to the State of the Union. And then like Cash is saying something like, oh, I got him, Mr. President. I'm going to load him up on the plane or something like that. I was like, dude, you just need to go away. Like, I don't know why you're here.
I can't imagine. So like you have to, and like, again, not to get too political, but I think you have to imagine that being that high up in the FBI gets you like almost unfettered access to kind of like whatever you want, right? And I'm sure that you have a media team that's around you that's telling you like what's good optics and what's bad optics and all that stuff. I can't imagine him talking to anybody and then being like, 2 thumbs up. This is going to look great. This is going to be a great decision. And like I'm sure none of the play, like no shame on any of the players, but it's just a wild thing to do. To just show up to the game.
Well, I was asking myself this. Obviously, most people, I think, right and left, are disappointed in Cash Patel. If he was popular, I think it may have been good optics.
Yeah.
Like Obama is pretty popular, I think, for the most part. At least, he's got the facade, even on the right, as being like put together. I think if he walked into like a locker room and started like, partying with the boys, I don't think it would have the same reaction.
Oh, that would be electric. I would rather I'd rather Joe Biden crushing beers in there. Even now, I'd rather see Joe Biden in there.
100%. 100%.
That would be 100%. Epic.
I agree. And I think it's because he's done such a poor job that people are so upset about it. If he was rocking it, I think it would be good optics, and I think that was the right call. But if you're not doing your job, maybe don't go drink beers in the locker.
Nate, I was trying to think, like, who would be worse in that situation? If it's like, what, the Prime Minister of Canada or Wayne Gretzky? I can't think of more people that are worse than Cash Patel.
It'd be pretty crazy. It'd be pretty crazy if Vladimir Putin walked in to the minutes. It was just like, these guys are great boys. I like them. They're good. These guys have a solid program. Like, you'd be like, what is I think that may be the only person that would be worse in this particular situation.
Remember, boys, you're all invited to the Kremlin.
Top tier.
Like, what are you doing here? What's going on?
Anybody with like low riz is not going to perform well. Like Kamala Harris would not do well in that situation.
Oh, of course you bring her up.
Like she has no charisma at all. Like she would do horrible in a locker room situation.
What about Hillary?
Hillary would do great.
All of this
Hillary would do better than
should make the final cut.
Hillary would do great.
This is how we should vote. We should vote on who would perform best in this particular situation. Going in a locker room.
Who do you want to see
and
crushing
partying with
beers
the team.
with the boys?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden's in the one hole for me right now. I would have loved to see Joey in there, man. He deserves it. He's had a long life, Little swan song.
I think if this is how we vote, Democrats just win every election from now on. Like Obama and Biden and
Gavin Newsom would look pretty skilled. Yeah, George Bush would look well.
Yeah, George Bush would do really well.
Who would bomb other than Cash? I think RFK would be funny in there. You wouldn't know what he's saying. He'd be in his jeans.
Shirtless and jeans on.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I challenge anyone.
2 alcoholic beverages, or else it's over the limit for what you get. Let's all get down and do push-ups.
I challenge any one of you punks to a push-up.
No, I mean, Larry David would be hilarious in that situation. I guess we'll get it off scope here.
Larry David would call out Trump on his joke.
Yeah, he'd be like,
he would be the one.
He would.
Dude, I would love to see Martin Short doing Jiminy Glick in the locker room. That would be hilarious.
I don't know anything you just said right now, but if anybody else does, please translate.
Oh, Jiminy Glick is the best. I know what the guy's talking about.
Jacob, this is old school boomer humor, and it's 10 out of 10. It's good stuff.
I'll show you some Jiminy Glick later. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
All right, so we now have to go at least 15 minutes over what we were scheduled for because none of that can make.
Yeah.
I thought it was peak content. I think we cleaned it up.
I just realized
wiggle our way out of there.
Yeah.
Jacob's cultural relevance and knowledge goes back to about 2009.
There you go.
True. Yeah.
You don't need to know anything before that.
Yeah. Recession.
Yep, right there.
That's when our brains turned on.
That's when Landon. You were a junior in 2009,
What?
is that right?
No, I'm kidding.
Junior in high school, Landon?
Huh? 2008, 2009? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, me and Landon are old. I guess Guy's old too.
I don't think you need to keep repeating that.
Oh, man. But yeah, great Olympics. That's all I got to say. Also, I don't think I'd want to go to the State of the Union. I'd be like, this is boring. I don't know. I'd rather go see the White House and get the McDonald's feast. I don't want to go to the State of the Union.
Oh, they're doing both.
McDonald's feast.
Well, that's what he does. He gives them like 60 nuggets, and that's just been sitting there. It's not fresh. That's why I always order quarter pounder, folks. They have to cook it fresh when you go to McDonald's.
Little hack there. I can't imagine like training my entire life on like such a strict diet, having so many coaches that like critique my form, and then you have this giant opportunity where you just lay it all out on the line. I can only imagine like the cheat day that they have afterwards. Like it's got to be epic proportions of cheat day. These kids are like 24, 25, and they're finally allowed to like, hey, you can have McDonald's if you want it. But
I will say one thing
for like 2 months
about the games. I feel it was tragic Crosby didn't get to play. I felt horrible.
That was tough.
It was sad to see him, and he's a beautiful man. He looked great with his hair and everything, but it was just sad to see that. He is the pinnacle of hockey. He's the greatest hockey player of our generation, and I hated because of Eric Chernak, former Lightning bum. Oh no, it's Radko Gudas, another Lightning bum. That's who it was. I actually have a rookie card of Radko Gudas, who injured Crosby, and I hated that Crosby couldn't play. Obviously, I was rooting for the Americans, but you want to beat Sidney Crosby. So to me, if I'm Crosby, I'm like, McDavid, he lost. I won when it was my turn. So, anyways,
that is something that I did want to talk about. How many L's is this for McDavid in a row? This is like
3 years in a row.
This is three. Like, oh man, I my heart does go out to that guy because like we talked about before, like one of the best players in the world, if not the. There's a big conversation there, but I mean, my goodness, it must not be sitting well, and I bet he's just planning a absolute reckoning.
Yeah, no points either in those games. Like,
yeah.
Whether it's the gold medal game or the games where the Panthers ended up taking him down, like when you look at how dominant he is, I mean, like there's no way you could ever watch that game or watch this tournament or go throughout the whole NHL season and be like, yeah, I mean, he's a freak of nature, like he's a freaking robot.
Yeah.
But at what point, even with he's won a Conn Smythe when he didn't win a Stanley Cup. He's won an MVP in an Olympics where they didn't get a gold medal. Like, at what point is that going to really like actually tarnish his legacy? Like, is he going to have to win something at some point, or like, he's still in the prime of his career. He's got plenty of time left, but like, he's kind of getting to a stage in his career now where there's some legs, like I believe, to that narrative. Like, can he just not get over the hump?
It makes me wish Skip Bayless watched hockey because Skip Bayless is the ultimate hater. And the way that Skip hates on
So
LeBron,
true.
I
That's
wish
so
that Skip
true.
would come after McDavid. Yeah, I mean, no, he has to win. He has to win. I understand hockey is the most team sport out of all the sports, but he has to win one, or this will forever be the narrative. Now, I know he won the Four Nations, but honestly, nobody's even going to care about that anymore.
No.
He is so electric and dynamic. He is an immediate difference maker every time he's on the puck. And I don't know. I feel like he's not playing selfish enough in the big games. I mean, he just needs to go coast to coast and take the games over because he's got the skill to do it. For some reason, he's not doing that, though.
Well, and it's wild because he did. He did in overtime. I mean, he almost scored in the sequence that literally goes back up the ice. And then, there's kind of some back and forth on, like, yeah, technically he should have been marking Jack Hughes, but, like, Werenski's wide open there too. He has to step in. Cale Makar, I don't know what the heck he's doing. He's like doing cardio on his way back.
I think he did like one stride on his back check.
I think he believed they were going to make that play, and so he's like he's already thinking like I'm back the other way. Like he's got the gold medal around his neck in his mind like already. Yeah. And then of course Werenski wins the 50-50, and then Jack Hughes, the hero that he is, he just rips one. But yeah, it goes back to like what we were saying earlier, like for those three guys to be on the ice and for it to go the way that it did in that sequence. I mean, what could McDavid do? I mean, he goes coast to coast, he gets stuffed on a really good chance, and then he gets left in kind of no man's land where he doesn't really make the right decision, but also what other decision do you have to make? And then it's his legacy. That's what's up for grabs in all those little moments.
That's what we talked about. I mean, watching the 3v3, watching it set up, watching which players were, chosen for it. I mean, it was instant. I think everybody in the room was like, this is not going to be good for USA. This is a tailor-made thing of 3v3 is just not the way you want this to go. It's, odds are completely stacked in the opposite way. And you hit the nail on the head. I agree with everything you said.
It's crazy how quickly you change your mind after a goal on the 3-on-3.
It's very true. Yeah.
All your near mistakes weren't mistakes anymore and stuff.
Nope.
Listen, I saw Minnesota and Nashville go to overtime 3-on-3, and Quinn Hughes was on the ice for 2 minutes and 43 seconds in the 3-on-3. And I get now why guys say he's so good. He was unbelievable. Now, he wasn't on the ice when they scored, but obviously, Jack did the trick. So, Quinn Hughes is an impressive athlete. I mean, one of the Canadians said that guy's everything that Bobby Orr was. I mean, that's a pretty big statement to make.
Yeah, Quinn Hughes is fantastic. He had the game winner, semifinals?
Sweet.
In overtime. Yeah, I mean, and I love my girlfriend's favorite part about the games was when they panned on the bench and to see Quinn Hughes zoning out and just the faces that he makes. Yeah, and
he goes into the dang shadow realm. I swear.
Yeah, he really does.
He's just reliving a past life.
And then I saw that it's like, the ghosts in Europe are much older, thus much scarier. So Hughes is having a tough time right now. But no, I mean, for the brothers, for them to win it, I'm definitely more of a Hughes brothers than a Tkachuk brothers, mainly because I think Matthew's a bum. I like Brady a lot better than Matthew. I don't know. I think Brady's actually a gamer and Matthew's just a whiny whatever. But yeah, I'm also a Tampa guy, so that's why. But
did you like the Matthews Draisaitl chirp in the semis? Or no?
I mean, Draisaitl's such a better player than him, so it's like whatever, Like, I mean, say what you want, I guess, but I mean, that Panthers team was stacked.
He's got more cups,
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, Draisaitl's a world-class player, so
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Say that to someone that's not. I don't know, but that's my opinion on that. But anyways, I don't know where I was going with that.
Better. I think it makes it almost better because, especially in that moment, because like what did Germany have for the U.S.? I mean, they were not going to compete that game. So like,
no,
Tkachuk, he knows what he is, right? Like he knows he's an absolute rat. Like he plays the role, he plays the villain. Like he's so comfortable in that element, and for him to pull that at that time of the game, I mean, I can't even remember how much they were winning by. Like, the game was over. Like, it was, and then just to kind of rub the salt in the wound is absurd. Like, that's what I think makes it a top level chirp. Like, if you had like a shred more of respect for Draisaitl or like a little bit of humility, like he knows there's cameras everywhere. Like he knows exactly that's going.
He skated right up to that camera to say it.
He picks that spot, and he always the bridesmaid. I mean, it's clear it could have been a John Boy thing. Like it could have been a lip reading. Like it was clear as day what he was going for, and I think when he makes that kind of comment, I don't even think he's thinking about that game. I think he's thinking about May and June. He's trying to make sure that he is firmly in the back of his brain, which the Panthers have a lot of work to even make sure that they're in the conversation come that time. But, if they are, and it's somehow, round 3 of this final with Edmonton and Florida, how is Draisaitl not just shaking in his boots over just the pressure, just the pressure of it all? Because oh my God, if it's a third time, it's the mental warfare. Like he's already setting up the layers months in advance, and that's what makes him such a great pest. And he's more than a pest. I do think he's a high quality player. Maybe not in that top 5 or 10 conversation, but he's definitely in that next tier. But yeah, you have to have those kind of guys, I think, to win. Florida, half their team is guys like that. That's why they keep winning, right? And they're greasy. They're kind of scummy. And it works. There's a lot of legendary teams like that have those types of guys, and that's why Florida's on the run that they are. And the U.S. they had a good little mix of that. And I think that's what kind of rubs against the elite skill and talent that obviously the best team on paper in the world was going to be Canada, but the U.S. they got a little bit more of that grit and grind to them.
Yeah, I heard a story. I don't know how true it is, but that the U.S. actually stayed in the Olympic Village and Canada stayed in a super nice hotel instead, and that the U.S. wanted to have that Olympic experience and mingle with the other athletes, have an open door policy, all that stuff, and the team bonding versus kind of Canada secluding themselves from that, and thinking they're better than that, which I will admit they definitely are better than that. But you just wonder those small things and those I don't know. You could tell at the very beginning of the game, and I texted Nate this, that the U.S. wanted it more. Now, obviously, Canada definitely outskilled them, but I think that win was not about USA hockey has reached the level of Canadian hockey, because it's not close. That game shouldn't have been close, but the heart and the effort was such an American story of overcoming the odds, which made it beautiful.
Yeah, multiple levels of adversity there is wild. Yeah, I mean, storybook, you couldn't have written it better. Oh my goodness. But talking about the Tkachuk brothers, I mean, they're when you play sports, when you play against other people, there is such a weird psychological thing that happens, especially if the people that you're playing against. You build relationships, either good or bad. And there's something to be said for a player that you're dude, he's just good. It's tough. I don't hate him. I don't love him, but it's just scary to play against him because he's tough, and that's what you don't, that's what you don't like to look forward to. And then there are certain players where you're I hate losing against them. And it just adds such a distinct layer of anxiety. It's so easy to throw you off your game. You're just I can't lose. I can't do it. Obviously I want to win, obviously that, but it's personal, I can't lose this guy again. I can't do it. The NPR had a whole episode during the Olympics about the yips. There's people that have trained their whole life and then they just completely flub it. And there's a whole psychology to that of why that happens and why these things are the way they are. But I mean, you've got to use everything to your advantage. And I would love to play with that guy on my team. You know that you're going into every game being man, I'm glad I don't have to play against you. I'm so happy you're on my team. It's such a relief. It's got to be such an extra layer.
That's definitely the Tkachuk brothers. I mean, you would love to have them on your team. I think that's why Florida went out and got Marchand.
Yeah, exactly. I like Brad Marchand, though. I don't know why. I like him, but I don't like Tkachuk or Matthew Tkachuk. I think Brady Tkachuk, I have respect for him. But I don't know. Matthew's just. I don't know. I mean, Marchand, he's proven it. He's been there. I don't know. It's weird. I like Brad Marchand. I don't like Matthew Tkachuk, but we'll leave it at that.
I love the memes out right now.
Yeah,
Marchand is so much worse, though.
But he's hilarious, and I don't know. I love his style, man. I love. I don't know. He trolls on Twitter. I don't know. I mean, I guess Tkachuk does the same things.
Landon, you're newer to hockey. Did you know that Brad Marchand licks people?
He licked one guy, Ryan Callahan, one of my favorite players of all time.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean he licks people? Is this like
he stuck his tongue out?
Ice? He's known for this, or
yes, yes, he has licked a player on the ice before.
It was one time. Yeah,
Are you defending this?
I think Callahan liked it.
It's easy to defend.
Yeah, we'll go to some beer league lore real quick. Someone thought I spit on them once, so I squirted.
This is a whole separate episode, right?
This is a whole episode, but either way, I didn't spit on the guy. I squirted a water bottle. How could you confuse the two things? He knew I spit on him, by the way. They just got mad that we came back and scored 4 goals in the third period to beat him. I happened to score one of them. Anyways, but RIP Whiskey Chasers. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like Brad Marchand. I'll leave it at that.
Of course, Jacob did get beat up by a referee one night.
I did also get shoved by a referee. I've had quite the beer league experience. I didn't even do anything. My buddy Troy and this other guy were getting into an altercation. And Troy's small. I mean, if Troy watches this, I apologize. Troy's like 5'4", $120. He's a small kid, but he's like 35, so he's got a child. But anyways, he had just learned how to skate. It's his rookie season, and all I did was come up to the guy and said, "Hey, pick on me, not Troy." And then that guy shoved me. I didn't even touch the other guy. He shoved me, and then so I started following him around, yapping, whatever. And the referee came and shoved me instead of the other. I don't know. That guy hit Troy from behind, no contact league, boarded him into the boards, got up, was talking whatever shit to Troy. I heard it, turned around, was like, "Yo, what are you doing, man? He doesn't even know how to skate." Sorry, Troy, once again. You had a great season, a couple goals. But and then the ref comes and shoves me. I don't know. It was and then everyone blamed me and not the ref as far as the league officials. But that's a whole other story.
Defense, you are very shovable.
Murph left out the fact that he hit the ground.
Oh, no, the ref knocked me off my balance for sure. Yeah, no, dude, he shoved the life out of me. He was like, "I'm used to ref in college." And I was like, okay. That guy's a burly man. He had a beard the size of Montana. What do they call that guy? Bubba? Something
Boomer.
like that. Boomer. They call him Boomer, yeah. But he's not old. But
because he lays the boom.
Yeah, he gave me a Costco 5 booms. He did knock me over. I heard today, way off topic, that someone thinks the booms are like a satanic chant, but that's a whole other. Yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother episode. Yeah.
Cover that next week. You heard it
for the folks
from
at home.
Landon.
Tune in next week when we discuss how satanic or not the Costco guys are.
Oh, jeez.
No, Nate, I did not know that there was a professional hockey player out here licking people. I mean, I've watched Heated Rivalry, and I thought that's as far as it went. But this, I feel like, is on a whole nother level. And I don't know if I can support this guy going out there on the ice and actually licking people. I don't know. I feel like it's like, you lick one guy on the ice and all of a sudden you lick people. Yes, that is how that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to avoid that, do what every other player does and not lick people. I feel like that's pretty parcel.
So what you're saying is you'd be more against Marchand licking you than you would say Suarez literally biting a chunk out of your flesh.
Yeah. Oh no, because if someone attacks me, they at least that's, you know what I mean? I get that. But a lick, I think it's you know what I mean?
That's a whole other. There's a whole other backstory.
You'd rather get boundaries.
Then I'm confused, and then I have to go to therapy, and then talk to my therapist about why I feel these feelings now. I feel like it's just a spot too far. Whereas if someone took a chunk out of me, I'd be like, it happens.
Landon, what are you writing in Sharpie right now?
What am I writing in Sharpie? My notes.
I don't ever have enough confidence in my notes to use Sharpie.
I have a little green book here. My green book.
Oh.
right now.
There's no way that's not bleeding through the pages.
No, these are thick pages, dude. These are,
No.
Dude, this is they're not a sponsor yet, but Anecdote notes, a little notebook. Let me tell you, Anecdote, sponsor us. We'll tell you how satanic the Costco guys are. We'll talk about licking players on the ice, and I will do it for you if you pay me. So,
All right, what do we got next?
I think it's a really interesting time for it to go back to best on best in the Olympics. Like, obviously, it's been a while since we've gotten to see this, and we're at that point where, Russia not being in it, you're not seeing Ovechkin, but Sidney Crosby,
Kucherov.
a couple of these guys that have been around, Kucherov, but some of these guys that maybe been around since the last time that the Olympics were best on best, where they were in the prime of their careers, they're not going to probably be at the next one. And there's the players that are in their prime. We've already talked about a bunch of them, whether it's the Hughes brothers or McDavid, McKinnon, some of these other big names. But I feel like there's always a couple of players, like when you get to the end of this tournament and you see them in a best on best, and a couple of these players' minds that come to my mind, they're playing on bottom feeder teams because they just got drafted number 1 or top 5 overall or somewhere with these teams in the NHL. I want to get into who we think is like going to use this experience to just explode onto the scene now in the NHL. I think there's a couple of good candidates that I've got in mind, but I'm curious to hear from you guys as far as just getting the chance to watch the last few weeks. Who are some of your picks as far as younger players that we maybe already knew were on the rise, but now that we got to see them on this big of a stage, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be the real deal for the next decade plus.
You're not allowed to say Celebrini.
That's like the obvious one.
He had so many shifts where he just looked like a freak of nature, just dominant. Where 200-foot player, I mean, for real. And we've seen that with San Jose, and they're trying to put something together. I think they're going in the right direction. But yeah, I think with the comparisons he's already been getting, I don't think that's reasonable to even get into.
Yeah, I mean, Boldy, and I'm not just saying that obviously because of his goal, but I mean, his goal was extremely impressive. Brock Faber, I thought, had a really good tournament. I was very impressed with him. Obviously, he was part of the Four Nations team. But yeah, Matt Boldy, fantastic. I was confused why we got Vincent Trocheck on the team. Obviously, he's got great aura, great vibes, but he ended up being very clutch. He's extremely good in the faceoff dot, so I thought that was a good ad. I wish that Clayton Keller got more ice time. I feel like why bring him onto that roster? I know like that roster was built very specifically to fill certain roles, but I don't know. I feel like Keller's had a great season for Utah, and I wish he would have got more ice time. But I don't know if that's really answering your question. But I'm a big Clayton Keller guy, and I wish he would have got more ice time.
Yeah, I think Sullivan's vindicated for sure by bringing Trocheck and Nelson. Like, those were the two names, I think, from the U.S. roster standpoint, everyone was hammering on those two. Where, especially in Trocheck's case, with Sullivan being with the Rangers, everyone was just like, that it was almost like Nepo baby, right? Like, you're just taking your guy because you like your guy. And
that was kind of what Sorelli was for Canada and John Cooper, but he ended up getting hurt. But I was like, Anthony Sorelli should not be on this Canadian team, but I am, either way.
Well, what about Drew Doughty?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, unfortunately, past his prime, Bedard obviously is the big name that got left off, and I don't know.
What about the kid from Montreal that the Americans didn't take?
Caulfield or
Hudson.
Lane Houston?
Caulfield.
Yeah, or Lane Houston. Yeah, or Hudson. Yeah, both of them. Yeah, I wish we had Cole Caulfield. And everyone's kind of praising Billy Guerin today, but had that game gone the way that it would have gone probably 9 out of 10 times and we get blown out of the water 5-1, I think there would have been a lot of questions about the roster that the Americans brought. But once again, not answering the question that Mitch laid out, so I apologize.
No, I think you hit on a couple players for sure, like Boldy and Faber. Like, they're definitely a big reason, and Minnesota bringing in Hughes. Like, that's a team that is going to be for real in the playoffs. I think earlier than what people anticipated. Of course, they have Kaprizov there. There's a lot of pieces that make them very, very interesting as the NHL season winds down. One guy that I wanted to talk about was Juraj Slafkovsky. I mean, as far as someone that had such high expectations, he actually was the MVP of the last Olympics before it was best on best again. And it's been rocky for him, his start in Montreal, as far as what people were hoping he would be and that young nucleus, that young core that they're building versus what the first part of his tenure there looked like. This year, it's really started to click for him. He's started to break out onto the scene. The Canadians, obviously, much improved. They slipped into the playoffs last year. This year, they look like a really strong team. And I mean, he put Slovakia on his back. I mean, if you watch the way that he played, like, you would not believe that this guy was in his early 20s. He looked just as experienced, just as confident as far as a leader as any of the big names that we could pick out from some of the favored teams in this tournament, from the U.S. or Canada or Sweden or anything else. And just with the power and the strength that he brings in his game, he's not a small guy. That's somebody that I think is going to get a really big bump from this Olympics. Like, he had Olympic success before, but it was much different as far as what the circumstances were. And for him to go in some of these games against the top competition in the world when he's already had a bit of a breakout season in the show, I believe that Canadians team is going to be crazy to watch because Suzuki got the experience too. Slafkovsky does so well. Caulfield's dealing with the snub where he's probably about to bite the wallpaper off the walls, where he's just chomping at the bit. He's probably just going crazy that he wasn't able to be a part of it, even if he's happy for the U.S. guys that were able to be there. And with Hudson and some of these other pieces that they have as far as the young core in Montreal, like, that's a team that even if they don't get super far this year, you're starting to look out 2, 3, 5 years down the line. You're like, oh my gosh, like this young nucleus is going to be an absolute problem. And it's been a very long time, I believe, since you could look at a Montreal roster and truly believe that, unless you're a Canadiens fan and you're just a psycho and you just contend every year because you have kind of the prestige in that franchise. But from an outsider's perspective, like Slafkovsky, what he was able to do, he looks like an absolute menace to me. And he finally, I believe, has that confidence too, where he's not playing nervous anymore. He doesn't look like a kid out there anymore. He looks like he is playing a grown man's game.
Yeah, I agree with you. To your question, I think that will probably have a huger impact on him. Just hearing people tell him, hey, you carried this team on your back. You excelled. You showed leadership. And that's going to translate well for Montreal, I believe.
I think it's great for the game when the Canadians are good. I'm not a big Canadian fan, but that's like the number one stadium I want to see a game in. That's like on my bucket list, is the Bell Center, to go see a game. And I think it's better for hockey. I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't care who knows it. I absolutely hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. But Montreal, I don't know. I have a respect for Montreal, and I think and I love Marty St. Louis, obviously, all-time Tampa Bay Lightning player. And I think it's great for the game when the Canadians are up and running and are, making playoff pushes. I loved Carey Price. I felt terrible how his career ended and how he never kind of got over the hump. And I mean, to me, one of the greatest goaltenders of all time, maybe one of the most unappreciated, goaltenders of all time. So anyways, like you mentioned, Mitch and Guy, fantastic young core in Montreal. And I think it's great for the game of hockey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nathan.
Yes.
Nathan, who's my favorite hockey team in the NHL?
It would be the Montreal Canadiens.
Thank you very much.
Guy Lafleur or Guy Schaefer. Can't tell the difference.
Guy Schaefer.
There it is.
Well, Mitch, I didn't really have a good answer to your question, but I did want to say how impressed I was with the Italian team, and I'm not even being funny about that. They have no NHL players, and they showed up. They scored some goals. I think they may have scored first against Sweden.
They had a tight game against them. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least at the beginning, yeah.
In the beginning, yeah. It was just very impressive and just a kind of a cool, feel-good hometown story for the hosting team. I thought that was cool. Just want to give them a shout-out.
Yeah, the goalie was
I didn't know they had
insane.
no NHL players. That's crazy.
Yeah. Facing off against like Crosby, isn't that wild? Crosby, McDavid, and I don't know if they actually play Canada or not, but I don't think they did. But that it was a possibility, I suppose. But that's got to be pretty nerve-wracking to have no NHL players in your roster and you're facing off against the legends. Pretty wild.
Here's my question: do you think that Connor Hellebuyck ever plays that good again, or do you think this is like pinnacle? Like, I don't think that he's being like traded up or like switched around now. The dude's like, what, 33, 34? So it's like, is this his like crescendo? Is this his like, I did it, guys. I did it. Or are we seeing another level?
I think the gold medal is huge, but dude, it's not even on the same planet as the Stanley Cup. That is an absolute totally different thing. So, Dan Marino, I heard one of the guys speak one time that coached against him, and Marino tell the story about he was in this restaurant and he was sitting with some of his buddies and they all won the Super Bowl except for Marino, and the waitress said to him, "Hey, where's your ring?" He goes, "I'm in the Hall of Fame, baby." Says because that was a huge thing that he could not claim, right? So I think that's how huge it is to win the Super Bowl or to win the Stanley Cup or Major League Baseball. That it's a complete career changing event. So so I go back. So is Austin Matthews now, has he vindicated himself? Well, it certainly didn't hurt him, right? It's much more positive than negative. Had they lost, I think that would have been really tough for him going back to Toronto too. So I kind of wish good luck for the Maple Leafs. I think it would be good for hockey to see him win it. Obviously, I'm a Montreal guy, but some of those big old-time cities have a lot of challenges in the upper management of the team, I think. And it's not always something the players can affect. That's just some of my perspective.
There's so much pressure too, right? I mean, we talked about it with McDavid earlier. Like, you're in Edmonton, Montreal, Toronto, like, that's incredibly different from Florida, Vegas, Tampa, Washington even. Some of the teams that we've seen win it in the last few years, Dallas, St. Louis. Like, there's a lot of great franchises and organizations that, whether they have a little bit of history or a decent bit of history, no history, it's nothing like what those three franchises we just mentioned have at stake. And for Matthews, again, it's not going to help him at all with Leafs fans. Like, Leafs fans are going to be like, okay, well, at least he can lead a team to get over the hump and win the big one. I think he had a good tournament. I don't think he really stood out or did anything that would make you think, oh, yeah, he really was exceptional in his role. Obviously, he was the captain of the gold medal winning team. That's always going to be on his resume now. And hopefully for him, especially for those of you that are listening that are an Austin Matthews fan or a Toronto fan, maybe it kind of gets the ghost out from behind him. We made the Quinn Hughes joke earlier, but maybe it kind of helps him relax a little bit in those moments because, again, like, it's just a totally different level of pressure that you deal with when you go into a best of 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs with the Toronto Maple Leaf blue on and that logo on the front of your chest and as the captain and the leader. Like, we'll see if it translates at all, if they can have any more level of success than they've had previously. Obviously, they haven't really gotten very far at all. It's not that they haven't won it. They haven't really even sniffed it even close outside of regular season success. So it's kind of a wait and see thing. Like, again, I agree with you where I don't know how much it's going to change his legacy. I think you make a great comp with Dan Marino. Like, yes, Austin Matthews is a gold medal winner now. Yes, he's going to go down as one of the greatest players of his era, but he still has a lot to prove, I believe, to really get into the echelon of players that he probably desires to be a part of.
Yeah. Okay, real quick change. SPHL.
Love it.
What's going on? What's going on with the Huntsville Havoc?
Yeah, 5 straight losses. That last one was brutal. I mean, that game, the way that it ended, and Krupinski driving hard on Wilson. Yeah, McCabe definitely gets a piece of him there, but to the blind eye, it was a very clear goalie interference. But I mean, obviously the referees, they're right there. The guy that was right there calling it was right on it. I think I hate that the SPHL doesn't have 4 officials. I think it's so unfair to the officials to not have that extra guy. And the games are so much cleaner officiated when there's 4 people out there. But I went and watched the whole game back almost, and the goal that we scored that Kestner had on the power play, Lindsay's all in the crease of Boyko. I think he almost kicked the puck out of Boyko's glove when he had it frozen. And that doesn't get called. Huntsville ripped off 2 helmets. Connor Fries almost paralyzed Ybarra on the boards there. So, I mean, yeah, you get that one call there where obviously the fans are upset about it, but you're playing the Make It Mayhem, and there shouldn't be – it shouldn't be that you lose game 1 of the series and then you're down to the last seconds of the second game, and depending on the referee. I mean, the team is way more skilled than that. And obviously goal scoring's been an issue lately, which is confusing, but I think teams get into slumps, and clearly they're in one, and you just hope they get hot before the playoffs start. And only 4 games left at home. You get this weekend series against Peoria. You get swept against Peoria. That would get scary because we're already falling to 3rd. I think Roanoke's 1 point behind us. And all of a sudden, in that round 1 series, it's only best 2 out of 3. If you're not getting at least 2 of those games at home, that gets pretty dangerous pretty quick. And for the team that's been, at least in the first quarter, almost 33% of the season, I think was head and shoulders better than everybody else, all of a sudden is facing adversity, which maybe they need. And a lot of times you get these teams that just blow through the regular season, don't see any adversity, and then they get to the playoffs and they get their first face of adversity and they crumble because they don't know how to face it. So I hope they can turn it into a positive. I believe they will, but they got to figure something out. So anyways, I don't mean to monologue about that, but happen to watch a lot of their games, I guess.
Hey, tell me how you really feel there. No, I was watching that night on Saturday, and texting you kind of throughout it, and just trying to keep in touch. But you've heard me say to you all season long, to you, Murph. I mean, when you look at this Huntsville team on paper, and even when you really watch them night in and night out, they are the most talented team in the SPHL, like bar none. Like you look at their top 6, and their top 3 or 4 defensemen, and what Brian Wilson can do. I don't think he's maybe a top 3 or 4 goaltender in this league, but he's a stout number 1. He's going to give you a chance to win most nights. And, for them to kind of go through that game the way that they did, the problem is it should have never been up to a goaltender interference call being called.
Exactly.
Now, at the same time, from an unbiased perspective here, in obvious goaltender interference. I mean, you said to the live eye watching it that it seemed like it. To the video, if you watch it back, it is an obvious goaltender interference. It was a huge miss. But again, I think you make a great point about 3-man crew versus a 4-man crew, and for Huntsville, again, it's not going to be about whether they're good enough. It's going to be about, are they playing the right way at the right time? And this is kind of the time of year everyone always talks about, oh, well, do you want to peak too early, or where do you go through adversity? Like, there's no perfect storm for it, but you're really hoping that you can go on the road this weekend against a Peoria team that also just got they got swept. 3-3 swept by the defending champs in Evansville after Peoria looked unbeatable for 2 months. They went on a streak of 21-1-1. You're hoping that you can maybe catch them where they're slipping a little bit, they're not playing their best, and then you're going to have to turn right around, and after playing Quad City, you play Roanoke. So, 2 teams that are going to be up in the top 4 or 5. So I still believe in what Huntsville has, and the other thing that we haven't really got into yet is, Coach Stu, and obviously still having, Coach DeTulio around, even though Glenn's not, really formally on the bench or anything. There's a track record of Huntsville being able to recruit, and we're at that time of the year where the college kids are about to come, and that's a complete game changer. Huntsville, as far as what they have as an organization, what they've built year over year over year as a contender in this league, they're they're going to find some guys to push on what they have currently. This is not a final project roster that you're seeing here at the end of February. For most teams, it isn't, but particularly for Huntsville, where you have so many of those, prime kind of star roles, the guys you're really leaning on for production, that's figured out. You know what those lines look like, or at least what the players on those lines look like, even if you're messing with the combinations. But you're really going to be trying to fill out the depth, because we've seen the parity this year from 2nd to 10th. It's been so tight behind Peoria after they made that big run. It's something I've never seen since I've followed the league, and they've definitely got the potential. They've got the potential to be an out-and-out favorite, not just one of the contenders, but an out-and-out favorite. But they've really got to pick it up now, because with some of the teams they still have left to play, you don't want to be starting to trend the right way a little bit too late.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, every time Guy and I call a game for the Havoc, we don't know if they're about to score 8 goals. I mean, that's how good they are. And there's always that feeling that every game they go into, if they're executing at the level that we know, they can light it up for 8 goals. So they have that talent, as you said. But it's just, I don't know, it's like watching A-Rod in his prime strike out game after game. I mean, it happens. I mean, it happens to athletes. They go through slumps, and I think there was a lot of frustration in that Macon series that was on display for Huntsville, that I think they don't need to get into a physical game with some of these teams. I mean, and the other thing I've pointed out on air is we've lost to teams that we're better than. I mean, we lost to Birmingham, lost to Knoxville, and then obviously the losses against Macon getting swept. There's just frustration that's starting to boil over, and I think that this team needs to just focus on outskilling the opponent, because we can easily do that. We can light the lamp, and I think Brian Wilson, I mean, obviously it's the first season we've done and followed. I think he's a big game goaltender. I think he shows up for big games. I'm so glad he's our number one, and I think we can definitely win a President's Cup with him. It's just a matter of, I don't know, got to have some depth scoring and stay out of the penalty box and just, I don't know, play our game. I feel like we're not playing our game lately.
Yeah, I would agree. You can't get baited into the physical, undisciplined style of games against the teams that you are clearly better than.
Yeah, exactly.
Clearly more talented than. It's one thing to have that trick up your sleeve when you get against Peoria, Roanoke, Evansville, the teams that, when you look at the penalty minutes, or you look at the way that they play and the way that they try to play, you're going to have to be physical against those teams, especially come playoffs, where that just reaches a whole different level of intensity and tenacity from those teams. And you've seen it. I mean, Peoria won 2 out of 3 years, and Roanoke won in between that, and Evansville won the cup after that. So those are your last 3 champions, and they all play that way. That's the reason why they got to the point that they got to, is because they had the skill, but they could also play physical. But I don't think Peoria is necessarily trying to get into 100 penalty minute games when they're beating Quad City over and over and over and over again, which they do every single season. Quad City might try to make the game that way, because it's got to be incredibly frustrating when you have to play a team that's year in and year out so strong and so difficult to play against, like Peoria has been under John Guy Trudell. But it's something where Huntsville's they've got to pick their moments, because I don't think it should not be their main objective with their identity.
Yeah.
It should be something that is a part of their makeup, and that they're capable of playing that game, that they're aware of how to play that game, and they've got the players to do that with the Procopios and Reginato and Lindsay, who's kind of like little baby Reginato out there, is kind of how he plays. You have the big-bodied guy in Trezera up front. He's not afraid of anything. So you have the pieces to do it if you need to, but that shouldn't really be a part of a game where you're going in and playing against Birmingham or against Macon, kind of as you were alluding to. And that's no disrespect to those teams, because, again, there's a lot of talent, a lot of parity this year in the league. But when you see what Huntsville has, it just shouldn't get to that night in and night out.
Yep.
All right. Scratch my itch.
I'd talk about the Havoc, man. I'd talk the SP. I saw Landon get up on the edge of his seat. He was like, all right, now we're talking about some Real puck hours.
Some big boys.
Dude,
playing.
I've been waiting for that all night because I know this Olympic stuff, it like gets its like day in the sun or whatever, but real
even let 'em
fans,
fight.
real hockey fans, they're talking about this league.
You can't even fight in the Olympics. It's absurd.
Pretty
Dude,
lame.
some of the comments on the Huntsville Havoc fan cave.
Boy.
It's like, holy smokes. It was, they were coming unglued, man. Like someone said, I called the head office or something. Like,
they're calling and emailing. I don't want to get into the fan cave. I don't think they like me to begin with, so I'm not going to get into it with the fan cave.
They're top 4. It's the lowest they've been all season. They're in 4th by like a point. They're fine. They're fine. That's really the TLDR.
Mitch, you didn't see the popcorn buckets and the goal song and whatever else.
I'm in there. I see it. The goal song. So you have to understand, a couple of years ago we had a similar thing happen where the goal song in Roanoke actually changed, and I feel comfortable saying it's not the choice they went with was my pick. It was Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones, and I was like, I feel like this would be great. It's what we ended up picking, and then like for the first like month it was out there, people were like, "This is terrible." Like, go back to the old one. Like, who thought this was a good idea? And I'm just sitting there like, it wasn't my call at the end of the day, but it was the one I had kind of like suggested out there, and I'm just like, yeah, you did. No idea. What an idiot. Like. It was my idea, like the whole way. People, I think it grows on people. I like the new Huntsville goal song, and it's definitely a lot less controversial than Gary Glitter. So, you gotta have to. You don't have to hand it to it, but you gotta have to hand it to it on that front.
Hey, you know what surprised me? One thing about doing the broadcast here was like some of the questions we get. Someone will send you a text and they'll say stuff like, "Hey, it feels kind of cool in here. Could you talk to somebody about turning up the temperature?" I was like, I think you're overestimating the amount of pull I have with the Von Braun Center. So.
Yeah, we don't even get the Von Braun discount anymore, guys. So I don't know. We can't even get a hot dog for a fair price. But no, I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, I'll look into that for you.
Better than calling the games at the Iceplex, I'll say that. I can't believe that we're 4 games left in the year. I cannot, it's crazy to think that we're almost done with our first season. I don't know. It's been a whirlwind. It's almost like a dreamlike state getting to do that.
Yeah.
And hopefully they bring us back. I have no clue, but I think for our first season guy, I think we've done a good job, and maybe I'm biased, but I think, I don't know. I think from going from beer league to pros, they couldn't expect more than what we've given them. I'll tell you that.
No, you guys have crushed it. You guys have crushed it. Like, I think whether it's seeing from other fans around the league, I'm sure that, the folks that you've met as far as the fellow broadcasters, like people like what you guys are bringing. It's a totally unique and kind of different flavor to it than maybe what the other guys have been providing. And we have, or there have been a lot of really talented, individuals or duos that have come through the league, and to look back at night one and then go to you guys in December or January now, once you get those first couple games in your belt, you guys have crushed it, I think, first and foremost. And you mentioned can't believe it's almost playoffs and it's better than the Iceplex. Well, buddy, get ready to learn Iceplex because you're making the playoffs, and you're gonna have to call a game in Iceplex, and that means you're gonna have to stand in a chair, which I've done at the Iceplex. And literally, what we did was you had to stand basically just like in a normal, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not like a desk chair. It's not rolling, but it's just some run of the mill chair. And you're just standing in it because the way that the bleachers are up there where they have you perched, you can't see the game to your left or to your right, your peripheral, unless you're standing in the chair. So after the first game I called in Huntsville, the year we played them in the semifinals, it felt like I got speed body bagged right in my abdomen for 3 hours because you're trying to balance and you're just it's like you're surfing on this chair, and you're just like twitching back and forth. And then you get back to I think we only played one game there. I think we had to ride the bus back, or maybe we played two. I'd have to go back and check. But you go to sleep later that night, and you're like, oh my! Like I feel like I skated a freaking playoff game, and I'm just standing there in a suit, looking like a goober, like sending out goal calls or whatever it was. And it's
Did you guys win? Do you remember?
Though. No, we got dusted. It was, it's so crazy, right? Because like even though there's only about 1,000 people in there, like you come out of the basically community rink locker rooms, and the fans can basically like pick your nose. Like they're right there. There's just a string separating them. It's like the craziest security situation you could ever imagine, especially in this league, where really you never know what's going to happen. So you have that. You have the slanted ceiling. So I know that the year before we played Huntsville, the year that Roanoke won the cup, they played Knoxville in one of their rounds, and Knoxville kept getting delay of games because they were putting the puck straight into the ceiling. Well, the ceiling's like 30 feet tall on one side, right? Like it's a complete disadvantage or advantage, like depending on how you game it. So it was a totally wild environment from anything that I saw in 4.5 plus or whatever seasons in this league, just because Huntsville's going to pack it out, whether it's 6,500 or whether it's 1,000, and it definitely felt like they were pushing the parameters of whatever fire code exists at the Iceplex. But it was a very like unique environment. I will never forget standing on the chair and the way that the noise kind of popped off the tin roof in there, and obviously just the other parts of that whole circumstance. And I hate it for the players and for the fans, and I'm sure the Havoc has probably done everything they can as far as with the arena and everything else to try and find a different scenario for come April every single year, especially when you consider at one point they had like 40 sellouts in a row. I mean, they sell it out almost every darn night. So, I hope that that's not something that is in your future this year. If it is, like, fair warning,
I feel like it's almost poetic if we got to. Yeah. I feel like it'd be poetic if we got to call a championship where we started, me and Guy.
Yeah. Nobody's called more games at the Iceplex than Guy Murphy.
Than Guy Schaefer. Well, yeah, most definitely Guy Schaefer. I mean, I don't know. There was that one Veterans Day game we were under scaffolding or whatever to call that game, and but yeah, I think it was funny. Nate and I had a skate one day, and I mean, this is how little I followed the Huntsville Havoc. We just got out of the skate and we're like, oh, what's going on in the other rink? And it was a playoff game, and they were playing Evansville. I think it was last year's playoff game. That was like the lone game they won. And Nate and I just like stumbled in for free and watched like the third period in overtime, and they won the game. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I was like, why are they at the Iceplex? But I guess there's a whole history to that.
Yeah, like 3-4 months later.
Yeah, monster trucks and Disney on Ice. Yeah,
Gravedigger. Yeah. Huntsville fans, if you're mad, start sending hate mail to the Gravedigger Facebook page.
Well, here's the good news. This should be the last year that it's in Rink 1 at the Iceplex. They're building a third sheet, and it's due to be done in October or December of this year. Ooh, so next year it should have, I think, at least half stadium seating. What's the capacity, Murph? Do you know? It's like 2,000, 3,000?
I don't know. It'll be like Birmingham, kind of.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a little bit like Birmingham. But, yeah, third sheet of ice over there, and it should be a lot better experience for the broadcast anyway, certainly for the fans and players if that happens again. But I think this should be the last year on Rink 1, hopefully.
Well, I enjoyed our broadcast at Birmingham. I'll just say that. Speaking of Birmingham. And, Nate, we could have had that electric beer league game there, but, things happen.
Did everything I could. I did everything I could. Didn't work out.
No reason to bring up past traumas.
Well, I think we're getting close to like Joe Rogan time here. So, I mean, I'm good to go if you guys are.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Like, if everyone else is good, the only thing I had left was just to let everyone know what's coming down the pipeline. What's on the agenda? What's coming up?
Nate Arbor.
Well, for us, we just started our new beer league here in Huntsville. We partnered up with Lug Sports. Registration opens on March the 4th, so I know a lot of locals in Huntsville are listening. You should definitely sign up for Lug Sports Men's League this summer. Games will be Tuesday nights starting at 9:30 p.m. It should be a good time. We've got playoffs. The other two leagues don't have playoffs in the summer. If we've got playoffs, we've got overtimes and shootouts, and no ties in this league.
No ties, Nate Arbor.
No ties.
That's right. No more ties.
This was a make or break for Nate Harbor when he started this league.
Hey,
He's like,
I had
refuse.
an overtime game winner in the summer in whatever league it was. I still have the puck by my nightstand. So everyone's complaining I haven't been to the beer league. I will never surpass that goal that I scored. So I don't need to be going anymore.
Well, to Landon's point, I put a lot on this league starting, and it really had to work, or I was going to have some egg on my face. So I'm very excited.
You definitely were.
Yes, I'm very excited that it's going.
This is Nate's Austin Matthews moment.
That's right. That's right. I couldn't have shown my face at that rink again if this league didn't.
No, you couldn't.
But yeah, it's starting up this summer. Super excited about it. But
well, that's good. Yeah. More hockey is always better. And
listen, unlike Austin Matthews, this is the game-winning puck. Okay, the Reapers beat Nate's Bandits 3-2 in overtime. I put a smiley face on it. Actually, one of my teammates went and got the puck. I know you guys are thinking, Murph, what a chud move to go get your own puck. But my own teammates went and got me the puck. In that summer, you go look at the stat sheets. I scored no goals until that championship game. Actually, and the Reapers have been in 2 championships or 2 for 2 and 3 goals in those 2 championship games. I have 4 goals in the total regular season, but 3 in the championship game. So I show up when it matters, unlike Nathan McKinnon.
You're a regular Jack Quinn.
Look out, Connor McDavid. There's a new rising star. His name's Jake Murphy. Get used to it. You'll be hearing from him soon.
Let's cut the podcast.
Murph Day.
Yeah, exactly. Guy got to interview Brad May. It was an electric interview. He actually was a super nice guy, incredible human being.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, Nate, do we have any sign-off stuff to do, or are we just going to say see you later and catch us? We are doing a bi-monthly podcast release schedule, so the next one won't be out next week, but the next week after that, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, just it really just depends on our own schedules. We don't really have a set schedule yet, but
yeah, we don't give a rip about you guys. We'll do what we want.
But
don't misinterpret that as we don't care, because we do.
We do. We care a lot.
Also, great to have Mitch aboard and a full-time member of Slapstick Hockey. You did a great job today.
Yes,
thanks for
very
joining
happy
us,
to have Mitch around.
Yeah, Mitch. Shout out your socials. What's your handles?
Yeah, thank you, fellas. Thanks for letting me come crash the party. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to be a part of it. It's at Mitchy Stew. That's it on everything. So
Mitchy Stew.
I'm pretty active on Instagram. Just bugging Murph with memes is most of it. I get a little bit on the Facebooks, in the Twitters or the X, whatever you want to call it. TikTok. I feel kind of like an old man, but I'm trying. I think that the last thing I posted was me weaving a 6'7" into a broadcast, so you guys could take me out back and do what you do just for that.
Well played.
But yeah, it's really exciting stuff, guys. I'm excited to jump in, and it seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Great to have you, Mitch.
Absolutely.
Right. To all 3 of the listeners that are listening, keep your sticks on the ice. We will catch you next time here, Slapstick Hockey Podcast.